Hello everyone, this is AndresRestart, and welcome to the beginning of the Nintendo Switch 2 era. It is official. We've gotten our first official look at the Nintendo Switch 2, and with it, a little bit of footage of the next big, brand new Mario Kart. So today, we are going to be doing our first analysis of Mario Kart for Nintendo Switch 2. For those curious on my analysis of the console, I'd like to point out that most of the things we've seen of this console in this trailer have already been leaked. We've talked about a lot of it already. However, I will still be doing a deep analysis of what we have seen. There are some new elements, and there's also been apparently some specs leaks as well. I will be getting into that, but that will come after this Mario Kart analysis here. And boy, there is so much to discuss here for just Mario Kart. I am very excited, and that's what we're getting into today. But before going forward, let me point out that I am aiming to reach 50,000 subscribers before the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. So if you find yourself enjoying my content, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Here we are, first look at Mario Kart as it's coming in. And let me just say that the fact that the first official game we see for Nintendo Switch 2 is Mario Kart, I think that comes with a serious implication, that this Mario Kart game may very well be a launch title for Nintendo Switch 2. And we've talked about in the past how Mario Kart makes a lot of sense for Nintendo Switch 2. Now, of course, I've also theorized that maybe we'll see Metroid Prime 4 as a launch title for Switch 2, but here's something interesting. We've also discussed that there could possibly be the ultimate dream combination of Mario Kart and Metroid Prime 4. The perfect multiplayer game and the perfect single-player game. They could greatly complement each other. Of course, we'll save some Prime 4 discussion for another time. I'm just simply pointing out that it may very well be the case that Mario Kart could be part of a launch lineup, the day one titles for Switch 2. You look at the first game we saw in the Switch 1 first look trailer, it was Breath of the Wild. You look at the first game in the Switch OLED trailer, it was Metroid Dread. Breath of the Wild was the launch title for Switch 1, Metroid Dread came out on the same day as Switch OLED. Now there's only one game in this trailer for Switch 2, so it's a little bit different, but still, the very first game we're seeing is Mario Kart. So there is a little bit of a pattern here, and I think it's a pretty reasonable expectation. If we're seeing footage for Mario Kart already for Switch 2 this early on, in January, then I would say there's a very strong chance that not only is this game coming out this year, it's going to be the first big game we're seeing for Switch 2. And this makes sense for other reasons though, because as we have seen from the Joy-Cons, they are bigger. They have a more ergonomic hold. But also the SL and SR buttons, those buttons on the side, these shoulder buttons, are more pronounced. Essentially, what this means is that the Joy-Cons, when we hold them individually as single controllers, they'll be more comfortable to hold and use. And on top of that, we see that the Switch 2 is bigger, the tablet, the screen. We've seen from the leaks that the screen is about 8 inches in size compared to the 6.2 from Switch 1 or the 7-inch from Switch OLED. So the screen's also going to be bigger, and with that U-shaped kickstand as well, tabletop mode is going to be a significant element. And what I'm getting at here is that Mario Kart, right out of the box, you'll have these two Joy-Cons that are bigger, more comfortable to hold, and you can play multiplayer with Mario Kart wherever you go in tabletop mode. It's going to be a better experience in tabletop mode because of the bigger screen, because of the kickstand, and the better controllers. And yes, of course, this goes beyond just tabletop mode. It can also be in docked mode or wherever you go. And so from this perspective, this Mario Kart will really help to sell all of the advantages of Switch 2. So because of that, it makes a lot of sense as a launch title, not to mention that this game following up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the best-selling Nintendo game in history, not counting Wii Sports because that was a pack-in for most Wii bundles, this game is going to have huge sales potential, perhaps greater than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, given that it's an actual full-on new game. And now, going frame by frame, looking at this very beginning of the footage here, we see what appears to be 24 spots for Mario Kart characters. Mario Kart 8 had 12, but we see 24 spots here. And you might think maybe that's just for show, but when we go over the frames here, we can see that there is more than 12 characters. As you see here, there's the first 5, right? Then 3 more, 8, then 2 more, 10, then 2 more, 12. Hold on. We go a little bit further back, and you'll see there's 2 more characters right there. So we have confirmation of at least 14 characters on track at the same time. So it seems very likely that there are going to be 24 playable racers at a time in Mario Kart for Nintendo Switch 2. I almost said Mario Kart 8 there. And I actually find this interesting there's going to be 24 because I kind of predicted this when I made the Mario Kart episode for the Ultimate Nintendo Switch 2 game series. And basically, the reason why I was thinking there would be more characters is because, well, the Switch 2 is more powerful, so having more characters would be a possibility. But I also speculated another idea. Because I looked back at some old interviews, and multiple times, including when developing Mario Kart 8, has the Mario Kart team considered bringing back a Double Dash mechanic. For those that don't know, back on Nintendo GameCube, Mario Kart Double Dash allowed you to double dash, have 2 different characters on one cart at a time. You could control both characters as once yourself, or you could play on one cart cooperatively. And so in that video, I suggested the possibility that maybe they stick with just 12 characters on track at a time, but maybe with a double dash mode, we could have up to 24 people playing at a time. Now, as we see here from this footage, it looks like it's literally 24 vehicles at a time, so that's not the same thing as I was theorizing. But the interesting connection I'm trying to make here, though, is that I anticipated that they would have more characters involved because of the additional horsepower of Switch 2, and we're seeing that here with this footage. And also, because on multiple occasions, when developing new Mario Karts after Double Dash back on GameCube, they have considered bringing back a Double Dash mode, that is still an option here. They could cut down the characters back to 12 as we've been used to in Mario Kart 8, but those 12 characters are in a double dash mode where it's 2 characters per kart. And this would be extra interesting because if Mario Kart is the launch title showcasing the abilities of Switch 2, including using the Joy-Cons for multiplayer right outside of the box, then Mario Kart not only just having the option to play normal multiplayer but also cooperative play, 2 Joy-Cons controlling one kart with 2 different characters on there, that would have additional value and would be very interesting, and I think it would be another way to really help this Mario Kart game to stand out from prior ones. But since it looks like they're making 24 characters on the track at a time, many of you are probably wondering which characters are going to be in this game. Well, I've seen what appear to be 22. So just confirming what it looks like we have here so far, right? We got Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Yoshi, Rosalina, Daisy, Toad, Donkey Kong, Wario. It's not when we zoom in it gets a little bit easier to see that. It's more clear there. But here behind them, this looks like Koopa. We see a little bit of a green fur shell, a yellow body, Koopa. I believe this is Pauline right here. We see her up close a little bit later. Further back, I am having some trouble distinguishing who these 2 are. This one's a little bit of red. I'm not sure. This one's kind of purple. I think it's Waluigi, which we'll see a little bit later. So here we are, looking for those other characters. I'd like to point out that when looking at Donkey Kong, his style is different now. It looks like the style from the Mario movie. But just focusing on the characters here, right here in the back, it looks like that is baby Mario. And right there looks like baby Peach. Notice how Peach and Mario are here, right? We see Mario and Peach looking like characters. So those are probably the baby versions. And I'm pretty sure baby Daisy and baby Luigi are right behind them or near them. By the way, here's Pauline. You get another look at her right here behind Wario. And it looks like Waluigi's over there in the back. Yeah, we get a better look at baby Luigi's right there. And that is Waluigi. Also, Birdo's right here. That looks like baby Rosalina right there. And here looks like Bowser Jr. actually, to fill out the babies. We can see a little bit of the orange, the more plump body, very similar to Bowser. That right there looks like Toadette. We can see the white circle within the pink head, very similar to Toad. That makes a lot of sense there. Yeah, so we got all the babies. That makes sense. But there's a few more characters we can see in the back. So there, that's pretty obviously King Boo, I would say. But if you pay close attention, it looks like there is a Shy Guy following him. And at first I didn't think so, because our Shy Guy is right here in the stands. But when we go frame by frame, like, the Shy Guy is over here, and now he's still behind King Boo over here. So this is another character on the track, so Shy Guy is also there. And so it looks like those are the confirmed characters so far. But now I want to point out how, yes, this game feels a lot like Mario Kart 8. There are certainly similarities. And visually, it's hard to say for sure how much better looking this game is. We don't have, like, direct feed footage of this game yet. And we're seeing just limited quantities. But the fact that there's double the racer count, I think that alone sort of suggests that, yeah, there's something more ambitious going on here. But there's more to that, and I'll get to it. But just looking at the characters, I am noticing some pretty good, like, facial expressions, which we saw a little bit of in Mario Kart 8. But it looks really great here. You look at Mario's look, it's like determined, slightly angry maybe. And then it switches. It switches when he's done drifting. And actually going back to Donkey Kong here, you see Donkey Kong, he has kind of like his lips puckered up as he's finishing his drift. So it looks like every character has a unique facial expression during a drift. And that changes. Like, okay, look at Luigi. Luigi also has that look on him, right? You see it changes right there. He has got that determined look, and it changes. Bowser has a unique look as well. You see him like that, and then it shifts a little bit. It's more subtle from Bowser because of how far away he is. Donkey Kong's more obvious just because of the way his face is shaped. Peach, I'm having some trouble making it out, but man, even just like looking at Donkey Kong here, like as it starts, it looks like he's smiling, like he's like amped up for this turn here. So that's super cool. Like, we're seeing some pretty advanced facial expressions. That alone, I would say, is very exciting. But yes, we're seeing the drifting mechanic. Of course, that's still there. I think Bowser bumps somebody and he's like kind of cheering, which we would see stuff like that. We still have characters looking at each other when they pass by. You see Peach passing by Bowser. She looks at him. That's still an element like from Mario Kart 8. Something that I really like here, we get on this boost pad and we can see the boosting come out. And there's a couple cool effects. Well, we only see it for Mario, actually, which is an interesting thing. So you see the little red stuff coming out from the front. I don't see that on the other characters. Now, what we do see is the flames coming out from all of them, and it's just a nice looking flame. It starts off blue, and then it's like the yellow, and then the orange. It looks really nice. We can even see like the lighting of the fire on the ground around them as it's coming out. So that's super cool. I love that. And now we see them driving off into the distance, but there are still boost pads here, like even all the way over here. And I think this is crazy because when does this track end? We'll get to that in a moment, but I just want to point out right here, we see this Yoshi's Diner thing. It looks like you can kind of use it as a pit stop. Kind of jumped away from it there for a moment, but something neat is this is actually shaped after Yoshi's head. Notice the eyes, right? They look like eyelids here. And then the nose where the burger patty is, or the bun. And actually right under it, we see something shining and glowing. I'm fairly certain this is the new item block. Fairly certain. It could be something else, a different kind of power-up. We haven't seen item blocks anywhere else. This is the only one. And so it's very curious. It could be something else, but clearly you could take a little bit of a detour and there's something going on here that you can collect when passing by. Now, going back to the size of this track, As we can see, we don't see where this track ends, where it loops back around, right? But what we see here, this entire segment is actually the beginning of the race, pretty much. Because we see that they're coming over this turn over here, right? We can see this lane over here, Shine Sprite. We see the diner. We see this circular spiral looking thing. Just want to point that out because it'll make it more obvious for where we are in a moment here. And as I continue to backtrack through the video, yeah, we get a nice look at the Switch 2, but I'm just going back frame by frame here. They pull it out, right? There's a diner we were just passing by, right? This is a continuation of the same segment. See, they're just going around a turn there. You can even see the spiral. Here's another look at one of Mario's expressions or facial animations when he goes into the hop to do the drift. You can see how Mario's face just changes like that, and we can get a nice look at the shocks as well. So there's definitely a great attention to detail there. But anyways, what's clear is that this is all the same segment. This is literally the beginning of the race, right? By the way, there's the Mario Kart TV thing, so the Mario Kart TV elements are still there. I think this strongly implies that just like how in Mario Kart 8 there was Mario Kart TV, they were recording everything. There will be some sort of a replay feature just like Mario Kart 8. To me, that seems pretty obvious. This is neat. Like, this is not even a normal car. There's no wheels on this. Whatever Rosalina is driving does not have wheels. It's like a sled. But it does have shocks, which is cool. So looks like there's gonna be a lot of unique vehicles in this game. But anyways, we've gone back to the very beginning. So this is the beginning of the race. Fireflower gas station. It looks like you can even drive in here. You can see it connects there. And this green-white is not a border. You can go through here. There are multiple pit stops. But this track is huge because this is the beginning, right? And then when we go back to where I was earlier, we don't see an end. Like, we don't see it. We see a dirt road to left to right. Maybe we can go to this dirt road. I feel like I almost see like some sort of signs over there to the right. I think I see that there. Yeah, there's some sort of banner over there off into the distance. But we also see boost pads going off straight as well. So what I think we're seeing here are very large maps, because the beginning of the track is behind us. We don't see it anywhere how we get to that point from here, but we just see multiple paths that seem to be extending far off into the distance. So the tracks in this Mario Kart game for Switch 2 are likely going to be significantly larger, right? So when we sort of start asking ourselves, where is the leap in technology here? It's, well, one, we're already seeing some really cool effects here, like with the fire and how the light bounces off, and the animations, but also the amount of characters on stage and the size of the maps and perhaps multiple branching paths. So that's all big stuff, I would say. And something else I'd like to point out as I'm backtracking here, right? You see this giant protrusion off into the distance behind them? That looks like a circular-like track. Now, the way it's shaped, it's at an angle, right? Like, it looks like something similar to what we might have seen in Mario Kart 8, where they use the anti-gravity mechanic to go on surfaces that might have you falling off otherwise. This looks somewhat similar. So anti-gravity may be returning, although I don't see anything on the vehicles that seem to strongly suggest that there is anti-gravity. So anti-gravity might not be coming back. It's hard to say for sure. This is not tilted so much that you wouldn't be able to. You might just need the appropriate speed to get through it. So it's just something that I think is worth noting here. A couple other little things I'll point out. We still see like the Toads and the Yoshis like we saw in Mario Kart 8, but now we see these big Koopas, which we did not see before, as people cheering in the background. But we also see behind of this ticketing center a whole other area. I don't think we can go here. I think it's just for show. It's hard to say with 100% certainty, but we don't see like the same kind of stuff. Like, I'm not sure where you even be driving around here. Maybe you could find a way to go around here and you're not supposed to, but I also imagine the Key 2 would just take you back. I will say that when we go forward, right, in this area, there's nothing stopping you from just driving off into a distance in the desert. Lakitu could still come and stop you, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of let you do your own thing for a while here. Looking at how much scope there is, there may be a great deal of flexibility in terms of where you can literally go, and there might not be too many actual barriers for exploration. I'm sure there will be, but I don't know, I'm getting a little bit of a open-ish Mario Kart vibe here. Maybe this even ties into a little bit of a single-player campaign where you can explore these maps a little bit more fully. Perhaps something somewhat similar to Diddy Kong Racing. But one last thing I'll point out is that while it doesn't look like we can explore this area, it does look like this road right here loops around and possibly we can drive there. Now, of course, as we see, it's blocked off currently to start the race, or at the beginning of the lap. But there are wheels here, they might be able to be moved, and if you've played the Booster Course Pass or if you've played Mario Kart Tour, there are tracks that literally change per lap. And they might be doing something very similar here, especially because we see what it looks like another path right there, and then when we go forward, we do see other ways to go. Like there's boost pads this way, but there's this dirt path over here, and we do see something off into the distance. So in my opinion, it looks like there's definitely gonna be multiple paths. The question is, will they be limited to which lap we are in, or will there be flexibility in which and where you can sort of go, or a combination of both? There's still a lot to sort out, dissect, and figure out here. We're sure to be learning more about this game very soon. I'm very excited about it. Mario Kart for Nintendo Switch 2 is looking amazing, and this is just the beginning, guys. I'm just so thrilled. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.